Fath-e-Islam, Victory of Islam, by Hadhrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, 1996, Islam International Publications Limited, printed by Rakim Press, Tilford, Surrey, UK. Publisher's note. Fath-e-Islam was written in Urdu by Hadhrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, in 1890, and was first published in early 1891. Fath-e-Islam, the Victory of Islam, was first translated into English by the late Qazi Muhammad Aslam and Mr. Nur-ud-Din Munir in 1973. This translation by Mr. Mubarak Amar Nazir is a complete revision. An attempt has been made to meticulously stick to the text as far as possible. The translation may appear cumbersome to the Western reader, but that is mainly due to the difficulty of the task at hand and the difference in the genealogy of the two languages. In case of any doubt or apparent conflict that may arise out of this translation, it is the Urdu original that has to be referred to. We would like to thank Mr. Mubarak Ahmad Nazir for providing us with this invaluable rendering. Signed, The Publishers, June 1996. Announcement. 700 copies of this book, Fath-e-Islam, The Victory of Islam, have been published. Out of this number, 300 have been reserved for free distribution among Muslim theologians, and those of meager means but fond of such literature, Christian and Hindu intellectuals. The remaining 400 will be sold to those who can afford at the rate of 8 annas per copy. Postage and tariff will be extra. Those entitled to free copies, like the clergymen, scholars, and those of meager means, can write to us enclosing a half-anna postage stamp, and the book will be dispatched to them. Signed by a humble servant, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of QADIANI. Beneath his photograph we have these words: Born in 1835 in QADIANI, India, Hadhrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad remained dedicated to the study of the Holy Koran and to a life of prayer and devotion. Finding Islam the target of foul attacks from all directions, the fortunes of Muslims at a low ebb, faith yielding to doubt, and religion only skin-deep, he undertook a vindication and exposition of Islam, first in his epoch-making AHMADIYYA, spread over 4 volumes. Islam, he said, was a living faith, by following which man could establish contact with his Creator and enter into communion with Him. The teachings contained in the Holy Koran and the law promulgated by Islam were designed to raise man to moral, intellectual, and spiritual perfection. He announced that God had appointed him the Messiah, as mentioned in the prophecies of the Bible and the Holy Koran. In 1889 he began to accept initiation into his community, which is now established in 137 countries and mosques all over the world. His 80 books were written mostly in Urdu, but some were in Arabic and Persian. This book, Fath-e-Islam, Victory of Islam, was written in Urdu language with a poem in Persian containing 38 couplets. Fath-e-Islam was published in 1891. After his death in 1908, he was succeeded by his first successor, Hadhrat Maulvi Nur-ud-Din, Khalifatul Masih No. 1. On the death of Hadhrat Maulvi Nur-ud-Din in 1914, he was succeeded by his second Khalifa, Hadhrat Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmad, who was also his promised son. Hadhrat Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmad remained the Khalifa for 52 years. He died in 1965 and was succeeded by Hadhrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad, a grandson of the founder. After 17 years of meritorious services, he passed away in 1982. He was succeeded as Khalifatul Masih IV by Hadhrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad, may God assist him, who also has the distinction of being the grandson of the founder. In 1984, Hadhrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad was constrained to take up temporary residence in London, UK. Since his blessed tenure of office, the community has made tremendous progress in all fields. The celebration of the first centenary of the founding of the community in 1989, the publication of the Holy Koran in over 50 major languages of the world, widespread initiation of masses into the community, and the live satellite transmission of his Friday sermons and other programs to all the continents of the world are some of the salient achievements. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, we praise only Him and invoke only His blessings. The victory of Islam and glad tidings of a distinctive manifestation of God, an invitation leading toward the paths of His obedience and the attaining of His support. My Lord, infuse the blessings of Thy Spirit into my writing, and incline the hearts of humanity toward it. Readers, may God protect you in this world and in the hereafter. After a long pause, this humble servant invites your attention toward this important essay on a divine commission to which God has appointed me for the promotion of the faith of Islam. In this article, with such power of communication as bestowed upon me by God, I wish to proclaim the splendor of this divine commission and the need for its support. This is to absolve myself in respect to my obligations to do justice to the work of propagation entrusted to me. Therefore, in addressing you, I am the least concerned as to how the contents of this article will influence your minds. All that I am concerned with is my duty, the duty to deliver this message, which I owe to you as one owes a debt which must be settled. It matters not whether this message is welcomed or scorned with abhorrence and distrust, or whether readers have faith in my good intentions. And I entrust my affair to God. Verily, God watches over His servants. Surah Al-Mu'min, chapter 40, verse 45. Now I turn to the subject in question. O ye seekers of truth, and O ye who faithfully love Islam, it is evident to you that we are passing through a very dark phase of history. A severe corruption has seeped into man's faith as well as in his deeds. A swift storm of deviation and heresy blows from all directions. What is called faith has been substituted by a few words of declaration uttered by the tongue, and what are called righteous deeds have been assumed to be a few rites, R-I-T-E, extravagant practices, or hypocritical activities. True piety and virtue have been completely forgotten. The philosopher as well as the naturalist of this age fiercely denounce spiritual capacities. Their views cast an evil influence on their acquaintances and result in dragging them toward spiritual darkness. They stimulate evil impulses and awaken the dormant Satan. Those who become engrossed in such thoughts lose their religious convictions, so much so that they begin to look with contempt and ridicule on the prescribed fundamental divine injunctions, like the manner of fasting and the offering of prayers. Their hearts are totally void of the respect for the existence and greatness of God. On the contrary, a majority of them are trained in atheism and agnosticism. Despite being born of Muslim parents, they are hostile to religion. Often it so happens that even before they are relieved of their studies, they are relieved of their faith and sympathy for their faith, and are resigned to it. This is the mention of just one offshoot in our time that is laden with the fruits of misguidance. In addition to this, there are hundreds of other offshoots which are no less obnoxious. It is frequently observed that the traits of trust and honesty have, it would seem, totally disappeared from the earth. In the pursuit of worldly ends, cheating and deception have exceeded all limits. The most mischievous is regarded as the most competent. Many types of lies, dishonesty, indulgence in false measures, fraud, falsehood, schemes full of greed and meanness continue to spread far and wide. Disputes based upon cruelty and malice are in ascendancy. a fierce storm of the incitement of animal passions and violence is raging. The more proficient people become in the currently popular fields of knowledge and modern systems of legislation, the less mindful they are in respect of their responsibilities in the field of decent behavior, virtuousness, instinctive qualities of good character, modesty, fear of God, and the impulse of fair dealings. The Christian Church is also laying a variety of landmines to blow up truth and faith. It is taking measures to instruct people to undermine and sabotage the good cause of faith. They are conspiring to annihilate Islam by means of subtle artifacts of falsehood and deception. They employ these measures to rob Islam of its beauty in all areas of its teachings. They innovate various measures to deceive and mislead people with every guile that they can conceive. They are thus insulting and defaming that perfect man, who was the pride of all holy men, the crown of saints, and the chief of all apostles. They do not hesitate even to caricature the religion of Islam and its sacred guide in satirical stage shows. They parade in comical processions, trying to project a most hateful image of Islam. A vicious slander is circulated through theaters with the aim of destroying the reputation of Islam and its holy founder. Therefore, O Muslims, listen, and heed to what I say. Christian nations have devised elaborate fabrications and let loose a complex campaign against the divine influence of Islam. It is pursued with such desperation that the funds involved are spent in torrents. It would be better to keep this article free of the mention of the disgraceful plots expended in the pursuit of this scheme. Such are the enchanting intrigues of the Christian nations and the followers of Trinity. If God did not frustrate their efforts with a powerful sweep of his hand and thereby shatter the web of their enchantment, it would be inconceivable to save the innocent, credulous people from their crafty designs. Therefore, in order to annihilate this wizardry, God granted the sincere Muslims of this age a miracle by sending this humble servant. He exalted me with his revelation, his word, and his choicest blessings. He bestowed me with the delicate subtleties of how to tread his path in order to successfully confront all opposition to Islam. He amply provided me with numerous heavenly gifts, transcendent signs, and spiritual insights to their religious trends and inclinations, so that this waxen idol of Western intrigue be smashed with this heavenly rock. So, O Muslims, the manifestation of this humble servant is indeed a miracle of God to remove dark spells cast by the magic of this Western sorcery. Was it not imperative that, as a counter to this wizardry, the world should be granted a divine miracle? Does it sound odd and incredible in your eyes that to confront and defeat these terrible intrigues, which have acquired magical dimensions, God should manifest such a dazzling light which would have a miraculous effect? O wise people, do not be astonished that at the appropriate moment when the world was engulfed in intense darkness, God sent down a heavenly light. This light was personified in the shape of a humble person, and for the appropriateness of this purpose, he chose this person to bolster the Islamic creed. He appointed this humble self for the propagation of the light of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and as a support for the Muslims. Indeed, he sent him to this world for the purpose of the internal reformation of the Muslims. You were more justified to be surprised if God, who is the defender of the religion of Islam, who has given his word that he will always preserve the teachings of the Quran, were to remain mute at this critical juncture. It would have been a cause of utter surprise if God, who promised never to allow this religion of Islam to lose its luster and freshness, who, even after casting a glance at the overt and covert deterioration of the Muslims, were to remain silent. It would have been shocking if he had failed to honor those firm promises made in his holy book, the Holy Quran. I again